Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful week. So we're going to bring you a couple of builds here. You can use this build that I'm going to show you on the frigate. You can also throw this on your barque and have one heck of a battle barque. So we now have this new Hell's Gate Torpedo. If you've not ran the Dark Tide Lullaby, definitely make sure that you run that. They are dropping here in Tier 2. I've not gotten any Ascended ones yet, but between the points that you get and then, of course, the drop rates, I've gotten about 7 or 8 of these things now, plus some of those counter thrust furnitures as well. Now, go through and show you the weapons. I am using the Thunder Dragon cannon on the front because we do have 6 gun ports on the front, and I just can't see trimming it down to only 2. So, keeping that on here. And we have the Skyren Tearing 3 Electric 2 Firepower Tearing and Siege on this thing here. We may switch this around a little bit and try it later with something else. But for right now, that's what we've got. This is where the main weapons are here. So the Hell's Gate Serpent, it has a spirit mending, and let me tell you, this thing works great to keep your ship healed up. Works really good with that barque as well, guys. So you can build you a nice battle barque. But you have the arming increasing the damage of torpedoes by 150% when the target's beyond 85 meters. Burning 2 adds 20% of damage as burning damage, and flooding 2 adding 20% of damage as flooding damage as well. That spirit mending 20% of the damage dealt restores the whole health. So the further out you are, the more healing you're doing. A maximum of 50%. So it does a really good job for that. Went ahead through dire burning on here. 12.1% of the burning resistance of a target is ignored. Amplified flooding of 24.8. Amplified burning of 31.6. We may go in and roll that out to something else, but the dire burning seems to be working pretty well. Now, I did also try a couple different types of things. So again, dire burning on here. We did do a lethal perk to try it out. It seems to work pretty good, hitting those weak points too in amplified burning. I may roll that out to flooding, or maybe do something flooding with the green, but for right now it seems to be hitting pretty nice. And then this one here is what you would really definitely want to aim for on here. So dire burning 13.1, amplified burning, and amplified flooding. So these here hit pretty hard. You got the gear score of 119. Now, something you can do with your Spiritcaller, totally up to you if you want to do this. You can do the dire electric, amplified electric, and second storm on this thing. The second storm adds 7.2% damage of electric damage. I would like to actually be able to roll those percentages out once we get to where we can actually just lock that in as far as our perk, and then roll those up a little higher on the percentage. We'll go for that, try to get a couple god rolls on that. But let me tell you, this does a pretty good job. Instead of just doing that little 85 damage it starts to add electric damage to that as well. So definitely really nice as far as adding those extra types of damages to the ships. But that's what we're looking at there. We're going to show you some of our furnitures as well. With the armor, I've been using the Ouroboros, but with this healing the way it does, I will probably switch over into something else. I've not completely decided, but I'm probably going to end up going to start running this Nova Armor in here as well, because you're doing mostly against ships. You're not really doing against forts, so you're not going to see a lot of those severe damage types. So we're going to switch that to a Nova Armor. And then for our furniture, we have this munition mixer, increasing the duration of flooded and ablaze effects, which are applied to enemy ships by 100%, but reduces the damage dealt by the effects by 20%. So you might pick something else out, but it does a good job of charging both of those. Been giving a lot of flooded and a lot of that ablaze effect on these enemy ships here. Tuning station, increasing secondary damage of torpedoes by 20%, increasing projectile speed of torpedo by 13%, and reducing or restoring 10% of the crew stamina. Hubok tuning rack increases maximum range of torpedoes by 14%, reduces the arming distance for torpedo weapons by 25%, and increases the projectile speed of torpedoes by 10%. So that actually works pretty nice whenever you're using those. This Ramrod Workshop, this seems to be one of the most prolific furnitures we use a lot of, decreasing reload times of broadsides and increasing that secondary damage by 7%. Pretty nice piece of furniture. Hopefully they'll come up with something with some higher percentage later, but right now it works good for what we need here. Now, the Lagrange barrels, increasing charge rate of torn cells. I need to get in here and change this out to something else. I may actually end up moving this to the volatile fuel. We're going to do that volatile fuel. That way we can increase that ablaze effect, because we're not really going for those torn status. I originally had it on there so we could tear cells with that front weapon, but like I said, I'm not totally sold on that front weapon, so you can kind of put whatever you want there. It's just playing around with it right now. I'll probably end up putting Culverin 3s upgraded, some Ablaze or something like that. Then, of course, Debris Locker, increasing the charge rate of the flooded status effect on the enemy targets. This is just to work with that flood. It does have that torch sail status on there as well, but I'm mostly using this for that flooded status. So about 50%, unless you know of something that does better than that, guys, let me know, and maybe we can swap that around. But y'all have a wonderful day. Definitely check out the build and give it a look. We're going to show you some of the battle scenes. Have a wonderful evening.